Hello, all you hardcores out there. How are you doing? It's Russ here from Porky's Corner, the biggest gob in sport. Welcome to part two. I'm just waiting for Kent to honour us with his presence. Not very good microphone work from Kent today, is it? I wonder if it's a bad connection. Here we go. Here's Kent. Women loving men want to be him. How are we doing, Kent, lad?
I'm here.
Good man. Good man. It's what's weather like over there, Kent, where you are?
It's actually brilliant at the minute. It really is. We went through a bit of a blaster for a couple of weeks, and it was freezing. You know that type of cold that your bones are actually cold. Well, the last few days it's been really mild. It's been great, really good.
Good man, good man. You were on about Caballel and Zhang. Zhang's a three-round fighter in my eyes. I just wondered if you agreed. That's all.
He's a two-round fighter, Russell.
Two rounds.
He's the two. And that's being generous. You know, you look at his last three fights. He dropped somebody probably in the first three rounds. I actually seen him tired in round two, and I'm thinking that's go and check him out. He was on a Triller card a couple of years back, and he fought a guy called Jeremy Forrest. It was a draw. Go and check that fight out. It's just a mad fight. He looked like he was taking a heart attack in that fight after four rounds. But I think saying now, he's very predictable. He's easy to beat. All you have to do is not get hit by him and just get him tired. Just move. Don't stand in front of him. Move around him and get him tired. And he's very beatable. Very beatable.
Yeah. Well, he's very big around the belly as well, isn't he?
He's a big man, Russell. He is a big unit. So he is. He is. Here, listen here. Don't be surprised if you see Zhang and Martin Bacoli next. That would be a shootout.
Yeah, it's Martin Bacoli and Zhang a shootout at what? Eating pies or fly ice?
Probably 2 rounds. 2 rounds, Russell.
It'd be a Hagler Hearns for the super heavyweights, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'll be a Hagler Hearns for about 30 seconds.
Okay. Did you have a look at Virgil Ortiz and Israel Madrimov?
I did actually. I really enjoyed that fight. It was. It probably wouldn't been the most spectacular fight for the casuals. Well, I'm not a casual, so I enjoy a good fight. I thought he adapted really well. Ortiz, he adapted when he needed to adapt. Majmedov's style is very. It's very very robotic at times. He's very awkward. He's a very hard fighter to hit, but his offense isn't great either. So that kind of cost him. But I thought it was a really good fight. I really enjoyed it. So it did. It was a type of fight that I enjoy. It was a technical fight. I thought he deserved to get the win, Russell.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with you on that one, mate. I agree with you on that. Uh, Obviously Joe Gallagher's guy won, didn't he?
I
Mohammed
seen actually,
Alakan.
I seen that kid. He's actually pretty decent. Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
work in progress. He
yeah.
really is, but he's got good funding. I think all he needs to be is a wee bit more wicket. He puts shots. He puts shots together from awkward angles. I think if he puts a wee bit more spin on his shots, he'll be stopping people because he does throw a lot of looping shots and shots from different angles that you don't expect. So I think he's a work in progress, Russell.
Yeah. Obviously Zayed Al-Mayaf won as well, but Josh Padley got the nod to fight Shaka Stevenson. What do you think to that fight?
There's two things. I think fair play to Josh Padley. He done really well. He's very brave in that fight. He's got probably life-changing money off that. Last minute. A week ago he was working, as an electrician. That he got a fortune for that fight, but electricians get a fortune every day, so there's no change in that. So yeah, it was a brave performance. He was trying to actually fight back, which was very admirable. Craig Callum, his coach, who was a good fighter himself, done the right thing. But it just goes to show that I don't think Shakur Stevens is a pound for pound top 10 fighter. If you look at fighters like in that weight division, you got Keyshawn Davis. You've got even older fighters like Lomachenko, Sapita. He was lucky against Heaven Farmer. And you've got them under that division and Tank. What would Tank have done on Saturday night in that fight? Tank would have ran right through Josh Padley, to be fair, and that's me obviously not being cruel. Yeah, I think he would have run right through him.
Oh, interesting, Kent. Very interesting. We spoke about Joseph Parker, Martin Bacoli, and Zhang and Caballel. Do you think Caballel will get his flowers now?
I don't know. I think he's happy. I think if you look at Caballel, he
You think, Kent, what's happening, mate? Here, I'm having a nightmare with you today. Can't hear you, Kent. Kent, what's happening, mate? I can't hear you, mate. Hang on a minute. It's doing my fucking head in this now. You there, mate? Kent, you've muted yourself, mate.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, mate. We're having a nightmare today, Kent. What's going on?
Well, not exactly attack minded, Russell.
Yeah, I don't think either of us are we? You were saying one about what we just spoke about then, because I couldn't hear you.
I think Caballel's in a great position. I think he's a better position than any Hackett in boxing right now. He doesn't have mandatories. He's not sitting waiting about in purse bids. He's in a great position where he's had multiple wins at Riyadh. He's getting an absolute fortune for it. Well, you would like to think so anyway. He doesn't really need to worry about anything. He's in a great of, sitting back and just making a fortune with no pressure. He's already beat Makhmudov, he's beat Sanchez, he's beat obviously now and Zhang. It's just basically it's winner stays on. I could possibly maybe, as you going to say now, well, now's for my chance. Who is there for him to? Who is there for him there to fight next? Will Frank Warren gamble and put Moses in with him?
It remains to be seen, doesn't it? But I don't know, mate. I don't know. What do you think?
I just think he's in a great position. He doesn't need to wait about for mandatories. He doesn't need to wait for purse bids. He's in a really, really good position. And as I say, he's won multiple fights now at Riyadh season, so he's going to be on the next card possibly, and that's going to be another pay fights. He's still in Riyadh season. That seems to be the saying is that winner stays on.
Yeah. Rest at card, Kent. You know which one we're working up to last, don't you? But Callum Smith against Bawatsi. What did you make of that, Kent?
Callum Smith really stronger in that fight. Like really, you could see that he's matured as a light heavyweight. I think it was a great performance. He dug in really well, but it's just that kind of. I've been saying this for years now. You look at Joshua Buatsi before he went to Virgil Hunter. He had good head movement. He had flashy hand speed. He was heavy handed. He looked like a really dangerous fighter. And now he doesn't have any of them qualities at all. I remember watching him last year on a bench alone show, and he looked dreadful in that fight, like really bad. And I'm thinking, right, he's completely done because he doesn't have any of them qualities that made him a dangerous fighter. Like he did move his head once at the weekend. Is high. He actually looked like a novice at times. He looked like this is a guy that got a bronze medal at the Olympics,
Mm.
and he looked even the shots he was throwing. They weren't you wouldn't be teaching somebody to throw shots that bad. The way he was turning the shots over, he looked like an absolute novice at times. And I think with Virgil Hunter, he's regret massively. Massively. Callum Smith with years working with her, it's always based on real good fundamentals, punching through target, having that upright boxing style, which is fine, fundamentally brilliant, fit. And you look now at Joshua Buatsi, he doesn't have any of them qualities, and it caught up with him in Saturday night. So it did.
I thought Callum Smith's tools wouldn't be sharp to beat Bawatsi, but obviously he got stuck in. He got cut to ribbons, didn't he? But that's the first time we've seen him in a life and death, isn't it?
Yeah, and I remember watching Buatsi last year against Dan Aziz. I thought it was a terrible fight. It just looked like two really old fighters. And Callum Smith's last, obviously against Beterbiev, he gets smashed to pieces. And you're thinking, well, he stepped up to light heavyweight now. And I wasn't sure about that fight. I really wasn't sure because I've never really rated Willie Hutchins anyway. Buatsi beat him in that last fight. I didn't really rate him anyway. So it was like Callum Smith got left. And what has Joshua Boy like Joshua Buatsi? Yes, he's only 31, but he's had a lot of inactivity in his career. There's been a lot of times that he's been waiting, for fights and opportunities, and I don't. I think he's well past it now. So I don't think. I don't think now. I think now of years of sitting about waiting for fights, turning fights down. I don't think on years.
Okay. Uh, did we touch on Josh Padley against Shaka Stevenson? Did we speak about that?
Yes,
We did, didn't we? Okay, then. Well, that just leaves us with the worstest scoring I've ever seen in my life since I don't know. Ian John Lewis got into a lot of trouble, didn't he, for a card that weren't as worst scored as this. The Tim Bradley one with Pacquiao, Sturman, Macklin, and Robin Reed, Sven Otka. But this one, I think, just about tops everything. Do you agree?
I had Bivol winning the fight.
Bivol, we're on about Adama Sia Shiraz.
Oh, sorry, Russell. That fight was abysmal. Let's just say that I'll touch on the scoring in a minute. That fight Like I remember growing up watching Robin Reed as a world champion, Joe Calzaghe as a world champion, Richie Woodall fighting for the WBC title, Glenn Catley winning the WBC title for middleweight, whatever. That fight, the middleweight division is meant to be a marquee division in boxing. That was the WBC title. That just goes to show the value that some titles have now in boxing. That fight was absolutely brutal. So it was that was a, let's be honest, Charles Thomas was bloody awful. I thought he won the fight by about 5 rounds, and Hansa Cherise was absolutely bloody awful as well. It was a terrible fight for the middleweight division. If that's the best, you look now at Hansa Cherise, he's destroyed Liam Williams. He had that win against Austin Williams. Troy Denny, it's European, domestic, smash him, and now he's fighting for a world title. He just looked like a rabbit caught in the headlights. It was a terrible performance from Hansa Cherise. They were talking about having a sore hand, and didn't have a sore hand in the first round when he hardly threw a punch. I thought it was a terrible fight. The two of them were absolutely bloody awful, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, it's what I want to talk about here is Turkey's role in this. When there's a video doing rounds of him jumping up and apparently, or allegedly, shall we say, looking at the scorecards with the judges and then relaying it with other promoters to the fighters' corner. I just wonder what your points were on that after round 10, wasn't it?
I think you always get, over the years, there's always going to be somebody looking over somebody's shoulder and whispering. I think it's really bad. I don't think there should be a way of, it's like even on an app where you can touch like a tablet or something like that there, that's then that round possibly disappears. And then you go into the next round and then it adds up the scores at the end. Some technology like that there, the very sitting on the ring, people behind you, we are basically a spreadsheet of the fight. I think they're leaving themselves wide open for that. Anybody can look over and go and whisper in the whatever corner. I think from his point of view, he's meant to be a neutral as a promoter of the event who's bankrolling it. I think boxing needs to improve with scoring. I think now judges very, very soon will be redundant because of these type of controversies. There has to be technology out there that can detect punch, like punch sensors and gloves. You could put a punch sensor on your hand wraps that's like a plaster. So I think it's time that boxing moved on from big, massive spreadsheets at ringside that everyone can see to where they need to go. I think it's really, really poor. To be fair, it's not. That doesn't seem neutral.
I know. Craziness, isn't it? Can you see him doing out at the super middle? Because they're saying, he's going up to super middle, he's dead at the weight. But he passed all check weigh-ins, didn't he? And he signed a form an hour before the fight to say he was fit.
Well, they weren't saying that when he was running through everyone, like those names I mentioned, like Emil Williams, Troy Denny, Liam Williams. That they weren't saying that then. I just thought it was a bloody awful fight. It reminded me of Johnny Nelson way back in the day fighting for the cruiserweight champ against Carlos Delon. It was the same
Stinkinator, Johnny, the original Stinkinator.
It was absolutely nice. Super middleweight is another dreadful division. Like you've got Talano there at the top, who's going to be getting into a mega fight soon with Crawford. But outside of that, like Jimmy Munguia has been smashed up. Igor Belanga has been smashed up. Caleb Plant, I don't really rate him either. it's not a great it's not a great division. If you look through the middleweight division, that there's nothing there of name brand value. I think he probably could go up and win a title at that division, but there's absolutely nobody up at super middleweight. It's a bloody awful division right now.
Yeah, it is, isn't it, mate? It is, isn't it? Let's move on then to the main fight of the night. Two elite fighters going at it and putting it all on the line and basically cancelling each other out. Now, a lot of people are saying it depends what you're looking for with judging, and the Bivol were hitting Beterbiev on arms, blah blah blah, and vice versa. How did you have it, Kent? And what do you think of the fight?
I thought it was a spectacular fight. You go back and you look at the light heavyweight division. You look at the fighters over the years. You look at great fighters like Bob Foster, John Conte, Matthew Said Muhammad. Lots of great heavy. You've got Darius Maczewski, you got Henry Maskey, all really great elite light heavyweights over the years. And those two guys right there for me are, in the Holy Grail, the Mount Rushmore of light heavyweights. I thought it was a great fight. I thought it was an elite fight. It had elite boxing, it had elite brawling. It was. I was speaking. I didn't think Bivol could adapt. Bivol's got a style, a very rhythmic style, a Soviet style, and the way he boxes, everything's very measured, very correct. Everything's very placed, and he fought with urgency. He actually fought more in spots. Where the last fight, where he didn't really do much at the end of rounds, and he fell asleep in the second half of the fight. I thought he fought more with urgency this time, and I thought he won the fight by 2 rounds. It was a very, very close fight. Both of the guys had moments in the fight where they were getting the upper hand, but it was a very, very competitive fight. I think Bivol's adapted better in the fight. He adapted his style better than the fight, and I think that's why he won the fight this time. I think he was a bit smarter in his approach.
Okay, I just wanted to touch on the scoring in the Adamas Shiraz fight. 2 seconds. 2 seconds, Ken. 115, 114 to Shiraz, 118 to 110 to Adamas, and 114, 114. So how can there be 9 rounds out in a 12-round fight? I forgot to ask you that, Kent.
It's just bloody. Boxing. There's the argument for that, Russell, and the easy way out of that is this crap that boxing's subjective.
And it depends like what you're looking for and all that shite.
Like it's opinions are like an arsehole. Everyone has one.
Yeah.
So I have no idea. I'm lost. I think if you've got a card there that's all kind of going, it's all veering towards the one type of outcome. But that fight was bloody awful. So it was. I thought Adamas again was bloody awful. I think he was moving forward. He wasn't throwing shots. Azim, Hansa Cherise was stepping back and not throwing punches. It was a bloody awful fight, Russell. I was so glad for the finish.
Yeah.
Basically awful. But as I say, that the argument is boxing's subjective. It's like another man's pleasures, another man's poison.
Yeah. Okay, moving back to Beterbiev and Bivol. Do you think they'll have a third one?
I don't think there's anything there for them in light heavyweight for them to go and defend titles. I think they're late years above the likes of Smith and Boatsy and Yard coming up. I think they're way beyond that. I think basically they could have a hangover after this fight. You're fighting two countrymen, undisputed, 4 belts, pride, bragging rights. Could go and fight somebody like a Smith or a Bawatsi or a Yard. How could you be up for a fight like that? How could you?
Mm. Would you be up for Smith against
So
Yard?
I think it would be. I wouldn't want to see Callum Smith. I don't think he deserves a shot at undisputed. I don't think he does. Like him going up and fighting Bivol next at undisputed. Does he deserve it at light heavyweight?
Well, he's just beat a guy who's not a world champion, but they're all getting carried away with it because it was a great fight. But when I look at Callum Smith's CV, I only see one-armed bandit Groves on there.
I agree with you. You know, at that time, George couldn't even hit pads.
Yeah.
Never mind, you know, the full training camp. And was it right at the end of his career? So for me, like, and I thought he absolutely bottled it against Beterbiev in their fight. You know, so I don't think he deserves that. I think it would be an easier night's work to see Callum Smith against Yard. I don't think Yard, after his last performance, Russell, on the Boxer show, I thought he looked absolutely shot to pieces, to be honest with you. He was near beating that fight against a journeyman. I think the journeyman couldn't believe how bad he was, and his luck could have been in that night. But for me, I think Callum Smith will wait it out, wait for a chance, and I think I could see Yard and Bawatsi next. That's what I see happening.
Okay. What they said this weekend, and I quote, Bricktop said, it could have gone either way, Shiraz Adames. Bombay Dave said, Joseph Parker deserves a world title shot because of the run of elite fighters he's beat. Juggies Oliver said, Martin McCauley fighting Parker is a better fighter than DeBar Parker. And then 2 days later, he came out and he said, it was a terrible decision to take the fight and a terrible fight. And Sam Jones, who said, yeah, it's a great fight. Martin McCauley's a warrior and it's a pick 'em fight. He's now saying, why did they put him in with Parker? So, and Ben Shallams says he's very happy with McCauley and Bawatsi, and they're still going to work together moving forward.
The thing about it is, Russell, they're all saying the same thing in the same sector, and nobody's holding them accountable for what they're saying. They're not, Russell, none of them are obviously going to go on and have a video with the likes of you and me who are going to call them out on what they're saying and hold them accountable for what they're saying. It's not going to happen. So in their own cloud cuckoo land, they can say this shit and just delete it out of their mind like it never happened the next day, because nobody is calling them out on it. That's why.
Yeah. Liam Cameron's come out finally and admitted the cocaine carry on. Year 7, is it 7, 8 years later? 7, 6, 7 years later or something?
Well, he's doing a lot of podcasts at the minute, and he's getting his name out there, and he's kind of selling his own brand. He's got this big fight coming up next, so it's just something to talk about, and it's getting him out there, isn't it?
Well, he said on my channel he were not guilty. I were there when he told Dennis. I were there when he went on phone to Dennis, saying, "No, I had no, Dennis. I've picked up a load of tenors that had gear on it from ticket money." Isn't it amazing how it all comes out in the wash?
I like imagine saying that about people that's buying tickets off you.
I feel for Chris Smedley really because Chris backed him to Hilton and doesn't speak to Dennis now after 25 years of friendship. That's what I feel
Awful,
for. And this is why fighters, I don't
bloody
believe a
awful.
word they say because fighters, they get punched in the head. They're bullshitters, mate. Absolute bullshitters. Liam Cameron failed for cocaine after Sam Sheedy fight. And they gave him a chance, right? The board. And then he did it in next fight. And then they went after him. But he never told Dennis about the Sheedy one, did he? So I feel sorry for Sam Sheedy. That I think that I'm not sure if that's a no contest, but I know the gentleman one is. But it just shows you that whatever fighters come out with, nobody can believe anything they say or promise, even when they're retired. They just chat a load of nonsense. Have you seen Big Mouth chatting nonsense out there in Saudi? He's waxing
What's he
lyrical
doing out
about all
there?
things Turkey, just like he was about Daniel Kinahan. 2017, Sam Sheedy. 2018, Nicky Genman. So for him to carry that around with him all that time is a long time, isn't it?
I think he would have been better just saying nothing about it and just getting
There you
moving on
go.
with it.
There you go. Bit like Conor Ben.
Well, apparently he's failed. Apparently Russell, he's all right. He's clear. There's no wrongdoing. So where is this dossier that he had? This 341 page dossier, the medical
274, Kent.
evidence.
Kent, it was
Oh, sorry,
274.
sorry.
Million
Well,
quid,
listen,
million
I'm
pound
still,
dossier.
yeah, suing the board. When's he going to sue the board?
When's he serving
Contamination.
papers on board? That's what I want to know, Kent.
What about the contamination?
What about Eggmania?
And what about this one? What about in the interview he done where he said it wasn't in his body and then he said it was? You know, what's it, what crap are you talking here? It's absolutely disgraceful. I actually hope that in this fight they both clash heads in the first round, have two big cuts, and it's a non-contest, and the match is called off. That's
I
what I
do.
actually hope happens in their fight, honestly. And I'll say I just think it's a terrible fight for anybody that's pure boxing. It's bloody awful. I think you got two guys. Listen, Russell, Conor Ben could be a flyweight, and Eubank could still be a middleweight, and they would still be fighting each other. Honestly, it's just a terrible indictment in boxing. You've got a guy there like Nigel's son who has avoided everyone domestically. Should have lost that fight against Paynard. He was dropped multiple times, outclassed in that fight. Hasn't fought for a domestic belt, and now he's in a box office fight. It's absolutely disgraceful. So it is. It really is bad.
I know. I think that's about it. Can't really. We've just about covered it all. I'm losing will to live with boxing at the moment, but tomorrow's another day in it, kid. So
It's all right. At least you're aware of it. At least you've got the good thing about it is Russell. You've got self awareness. You've got self awareness of things that annoy you, and when you've got self awareness from things like that, you have more protection. You can accept it better. So it's okay. You know what you don't like, and you know what you like, which will protect you. So it will. And I think as boxing fans, we get very frustrated. We have an infinity with boxing, with a synergy with it, with a love of it. And as long as you've got that deep down, and you've got that self awareness of things that you don't like, I think you'll be all right.
Okay. Well, listen, you take care, Ken. Have a great evening.
Peace out, Russell.
Peace out, mate. Thanks for coming on. And there, that was it. That was Kent. Women love him, men want to be him. I'm now off to get the team Volvo. Now that it's been MOT'd. Thank God for that. It's passed. Pop, pop, bang. Big shout out to Peter De Freitas. He'll be coming on Wednesday. I've got James on tonight, 8 p.m. in a two-parter. Andy on at 10 p.m. tonight. That's for Andy from Andy's Cavern. And Peter De Freitas Wednesday. Jerry Wednesday, I think. I think it's Jerry Wednesday. Have a look. Yeah, Jerry Wednesday. Adam and Tim Wednesday. Peter De Freitas, the legendary boxing guru, Wednesday. James tonight, two-parter. Andy tonight, two-parter. And hopefully we'll get Canada Bob and Anthony on at some point this week. All right. And Richard, I'm hoping to get him on. Ryan, I'm just trying to juggle everything in around cars and dogs and kids and cats and cat shit. And trying to do a bit of training in between as well. Okie dokie. Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. I do apologise for the sound from Kent's tech stuff. I don't know if it's his earphones or something. I think we had a bit of a similar problem last time. So I do apologise. So you probably have to turn your volume up or something. All right. Okie dokie. Go on. Peace out.